There it is. The recording is underway. I guess. I have no idea. I can't really, there's really no good way to test it. And, you know, I have, I have accidentally gone long stretches with like the camera off or the mic off, before. So, you know, we'll see. It's always a we'll see how it goes here. But this is a pre-record. I have a gathering to attend this evening, so I got to get it out of the way now. So I will let me give you the socials before we get rolling. Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler, and of course, here the YouTube channel, Mike's Golden Streams, or just search Sacktap Live, and it's bound to show up. Yeah, so I'm pre-recorded this week, and sadly for you, I will be taking off next week to go on a little vacay, hitting the beach, Florida. Gonna get some sun, Fort Lauderdale, that area. Got some friends to see. It's my godson's brother's birthday, so I'm gonna go to a party, probably get some decent food. Pretty pumped about that. Yeah, come back. Hopefully the next time you see me on screen, I'll have a nice little bronze going. I believe the MILF Hunter owns a bar near where I'm going, so if I have a chance, I will pop in there for sure and pay homage to the legend that is the MILF Hunter. Otherwise, just gonna lounge. Obviously, you got to bring. You have to sneaking weed past TSA is like the easiest thing in the world. It's not even. I mean, it's not even that thing you worry about anymore. But you got to do a little of that. Have a couple beverages, a little bit of a swim. Hopefully, I don't get fucking ripped in half by a tiger shark. I believe they do have those down there. My hotel does have a pool right on the beach, so that'll presumably be shark free. And of course, you always hope when you're going on one of these excursions that there are a lot of tits to be to looked at. Hopefully, I didn't say that too early in the episode to use that phrase because I know YouTube can get a little bit tricky with. I guess they scan the first few minutes of every video to see if there's anything that they need to bury. That is the rumor I've heard, at least. But oh well. Hopefully, I'm sure the scenery will be quite nice, quite 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 lovely. The beach I'm talking about, of course. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Taking a fucking break. It has been a humdinger of a start to the year. Or I mean, not even just the year. It's just I haven't fucking stopped going since. I'm trying to think, when did shit really pick up? I want to say probably right after surgery last spring when I got back into over the summer. I helped run a little family biz that occupies some of my extra time, and of course, I train outside of my full-time job. And last summer, I was taking a full semester college level course on behavior modification, and of course, that took, in addition to everything else that was going on, that ate up a little bit more time. And then I was helping run the family biz through the fall when the season wrapped up. Then it was the holidays. Then right after the holidays, I started taking a strength and conditioning certification course. Just finished that up. So I am just fucking cooked right now, and could frankly use the break. So I'm gonna go hang out on the beach in Florida, sip some margs, probably hit the weights down there. I believe the hotel does have a gym. Anyway, that's where I'll be next Friday. But right now, I'm here pre-recording this for you. Home opener for the New York Mets today. They, as you can tell by my attire, I wish I had better news to report. They lost 3-1 to the Brewers. Oh well. I hope I don't look like anyone other than myself right now with glasses and decked head to toe in New York Mets attire. I could only possibly right now look like Mike Montone. There's not another person on the planet that I could possibly be compared to at the moment. Anyway, I'm sure somewhere in the comments section that was already mentioned. So there you go. What a couple of little bits to get to before I hop into. I have a couple articles. I heard very recently that TikTokers have discovered Mad Dog 2020, which is I'm glad to hear. I want nothing to do with drinking it anymore, but I am glad, just overflowing with joy that Mad Dog 2020 is still out there. My I don't know when we discovered it. I don't think it was my junior year. I think it was very much a senior year of college thing that we got really into Mad Dog 2020. We if we weren't just hammering it ice cold, you got to drink it. Drink it ice cold if you're going to. But we would if we weren't drinking it by the bottle, we would pour it into a blender with ice. I'm trying to remember what else we put in. Like usually, we'd get like an orange Jubilee, some ice, and then you would throw in like a little Bacardi O, and you would blend it all up and top it off with like Sprite or some sort of lemon lime soda. And I mean, you get good and fucked up off of it. Like you would have the amount of fucking alcohol that I was able to consume back then, it blows my mind. Cause like now I have a couple of drinks and I'm a sluggish piece of shit for 3 days. And this isn't like, oh, I used to be able to, drink a 6-pack in a night. Like I there were evenings where a casual night in on the couch watching a movie was like a 12-pack just inside of a couple hours. So that our tolerance for booze was very high. So we were making these concoctions, and just getting absolutely fucking obliterated at tiny Muhlenberg College. What a time it was! It was so much fun. I really do feel bad for like a lot of the college kids these days. And I know they still obviously party. College kids are gonna fucking party. I actually went to a college party a couple of years ago, and I was back on campus for a football game. We were walking around. Some fucking students thought it would be hilarious to invite some old alumni in, so we went and had a few beverages and gave some fucking high fives, hit the funnel a little bit. It was a good time. Fucking. But now it seems like most of not maybe not most of, but it seems like the students are so activist now. Everybody has to care about nobody gave a shit about anything when I was in college. That was one of the things I loved about it. Really, we were just there to have a good time. I went to a good school, and for the most part, a lot of people didn't even care. But well, I probably shouldn't say that. They actually did care about school. I was probably in a very vocal minority of people who didn't give a shit about school. I learned very, very close to the end of my college tenure that there was this entire like social ecosystem that revolved around the fucking library, which fascinated me. Who the fuck is going to the library? I avoided doing homework like the fucking plague. Like I would do the absolute bare minimum because really all I wanted to do was drink Mad Dog 2020 and do like funnel fucking beers from this massive fucking roof funnel that we had. It was awesome. You could fit a lot of fucking booze into this thing. I forget exactly how many beers you could fill into this. into the roof funnel, but it was a significant amount, and a lot of people would projectile vomit immediately upon doing it. Not because it got them drunk so quickly, just because of the sheer volume of alcohol that they were consuming. And now it's like everyone just wants to get they're all upset about Hamas, or they need another trans bathroom on campus, and it really seems like it's taking the fun away from the college experience. So get out there and drink your Mad Dog 2020, kids. Don't worry about the Middle East. There's still going to be fighting in the Middle East when you graduate. Like if you're still into it, then you can protest, or you can even go. You could go to the Middle East. I did. I went to the Middle East after I graduated college. I boozed all the way through and then went to the Middle East. That is how I would do it. Don't give up your fun years to go protest things about the Middle East. Complete waste of time. Nobody over there gives a shit what you have to say. I mean, they have literally been fighting over the same stretch of fucking sand in the Middle East for thousands of years now. Thousands. And a lot of times with the same weapons, cutting each other's heads off. So I don't know why all of these dopes think that by having a protest at wherever. Where was the latest one? Was there one at like Vanderbilt or something like that? There was some video where the protesters were getting mad that their needs hadn't been met, so they wouldn't give up their protest. But this one chick needed to change her tampon so she didn't get toxic shock syndrome, and it was just so fucking so stupid. It's really the only way to describe it. This crop of kids, like, shut up. No one cares. It's stupid. No one's gonna listen to you. What do you think is gonna happen? Like Netanyahu's gonna be like, oh, they're protesting at Vanderbilt. We should, guys, ease up a bit. Look, they're probably not hiding weapons in the hospitals, so don't search there. Be nice. Come on. No. Stupid. Stupid. I think the state of New Jersey just demanded that Netanyahu do something or like stop doing something. I don't really stay up on it because I don't fucking care. As I've previously stated, nobody cares. But I believe the state of New Jersey passed a resolution, or Phil Murphy demanded that Israel stop doing whatever it's doing, which I don't know. I feel like, we made up the whole weapons of mass destruction thing. I think that's different. Like going into Afghanistan and fucking whooping some ass, pretty justified. But like, if you go through something like October 7th, I get the desire to go clean a little house. Yeah, I get it. Again, I'm not too up on the nuances, but it would be pretty tough if I was the leader of Israel to listen to the governor of New Jersey, is what I'm saying, or some dopes on a college campus. I'm not going to go through a whole article on it just because I think a lot of the stuff it's going to take a little while to come out. There's going to be all sorts of documents and allegations and whatnot. But Diddy, not a good week for it. It hasn't been a good few months for Diddy. First, there was all the Meek Mill stuff. And now we might find out if the Meek Mill stuff is true, because I guess they raided his residence, and it looked like he was maybe trying to run off to the Caribbean, but I guess he stayed in the countries in Miami or something like that. But I was looking at the pictures, and they just tossed everything. It's just a disaster in there. I'm always curious as to what they're looking for. Like, if you're ever up to something that is so nefarious that the feds could one day raid your place and just toss everything everywhere, and it's a situation like when they're throwing around the phrase sex trafficking, you're in Dutch. Um, so I would have to think that you would have a plan to kind of wash all of this stuff. Like, there's no way you don't know. You may not know the exact date, but you have to. There has to be at some point there has to be like a building suspicion that like, oh, maybe a little something's coming. I can't imagine if you're doing that much that it warrants a federal raid. You should have mechanisms in place to make sure there is minimal evidence anywhere. It just seems to me that that would be smart. I don't know. Like, I'm always blown away when they kind of toss the entire, and I guess what they're looking for is, yeah, maybe a cleverly hidden USB drive or something like that. But even that, I I would sit down and think long and hard. And if I had Diddy money, I mean, I would be destroying a computer like every month. Every couple weeks, I would just fucking torch a computer, get myself. We would just have stacks. If I was doing weird stuff on a computer, stacks and fucking stacks of computers around. And then once every few months, I'd transfer something to an external hard drive. Like, if for whatever reason you're keeping all of this shit, I don't. I'm always curious as to why there are records of stuff like this kept. I just said keeping. I understand. Yes. Yes, I did. Kept. Why there are records. Like, because, or physical evidence or anything. Like, if you're going to do shady shit, if you're going to operate outside of the law, if you're going to sex traffic or molest, it seems to me that you should be keeping it should be a priority in your life to make sure that there is zero evidence for them to find. All communication done through drug dealer style reloadable fucking track phone, that you pay a day laborer to load, with cash. You give him cash, and you have a day laborer, just some guy, some migrant, who's just up from the caravan. Pay him cash. You have him load your phone with minutes. They know how to do that. They're fun. It's this is they Yeah, trust me, because if I ride, I live in a neighborhood where we have tons of these guys. They all have smartphones. They know how to use a phone. Um, so through a conduit, because I don't. Would you use a conduit? I guess you're probably going to need help with an operation this big, so you got to get someone. You got to maybe get their hands a little dirty. Otherwise, you do it by yourself in disguise. He wore that. What was that Joker outfit that time? He could dress up as the Joker, get himself a day laborer, have the day laborer load a flip phone for him, and use that for your communication. That way, like, all your stuff is clean. You take all your pictures on an old style digital camera if you're going to record anything, and then you stash this stuff somewhere far away. You get you get yourself like just an old Toyota Camry or something like that, or a minivan, and you buy under a shell corporation. You buy a home out in the suburbs. No one knows it's you. You do all this stuff on the fucking QT. You get way out there into deep anonymity. Maybe you buy a big fucking plot of land out in the desert somewhere, and you just bury stuff underneath rocks. You bury your shit underneath rocks in good sturdy cases. That's not gonna fucking dirt's not gonna get in there. Maybe even go so far as to build yourself a little underground kind of cellar in there. If you want to go, I don't know, maybe a video of yourself getting blown by Meek Mill, and you want to watch it. So you go in there and you enjoy it, and it's all there, and it's good. And then you drive an unassuming car to and from Toyota Camry. Wear a baseball cap, COVID mask. No one knows it's you. No one knows it's Puff. That's how you got to do it. You can't be brazen, but I guess that comes with the money, the Benjamins, if you will. If you are all about the Benjamins, baby, you have so much money that you feel like you get away with anything, and you begin not taking these precautions. But precautions need to be taken if you're going to operate in such a manner. Maybe it's just because I'm Italian and we're constantly thinking about how best to avoid federal investigation. That is actually a genetic trait of all Italian Americans, is that we walk around thinking about how to avoid any federal investigators who might be following us. So perhaps Diddy should have hired some Italians. Maybe that he could have avoided everything instead of that. That would he get that blonde-haired basketball player from Syracuse who was muling drugs for him? Yeah. Oh well, Diddy. So I'll probably talk. We'll talk more about that. As more stuff comes out and prosecutors make announcements and all that stuff, if there are charges, whatever. But 50 Cent having a field day, so tip of the cap. 50 Cent from Queens, of course, the New York Mets, from Queens, to Fitty. Him and Cat Williams are having a good laugh, man. Everyone, by the way, the biggest fucking everyone who has been saying that like the rich and the elites are into all sorts of weirdo sex stuff and fucking trafficking people and all of that. It is turning out to be kind of true. So shout out to the squad out there. By the way, anyway. Oh, speaking of powerful child molesters, this Nickelodeon documentary. Holy shit. Kenan Thompson, who I guess he was an all that guy. I wasn't a huge Nickelodeon guy, so I don't know who a lot of these people are. I would watch Nicktoons. I liked the earlier Nickelodeon stuff. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Hey Dude. I was Clarissa Explains It All, Nickelodeon, I think. I started to dip when I think around the Alex Mack years. I think that was sort of the end for me. So a lot of these, like, I didn't know who Drake Bell was. I was completely unaware of who Drake Bell was until I saw this documentary. Guy's got a great head of hair. Guy has got a head of hair. But I feel bad because he was horribly violated by one of these producers. I forget what the guy's name was. This producer who I guess, so they didn't actually say it during the documentary. He just says, imagine the worst thing that someone could do to you. And I can think of two worst things. Either he fucks your face, or he fucks your pooper, your beehole, your ace. I'm not sure. I guess I got to think the butt fucking is the worst one, right? But either way, this guy was doing it, and this other producer was sending pictures of himself masturbating, and I guess he tried to kiss a 9-year-old girl. A real creep. Um, but what was the expectation with the adults who were signing up to do this, right? Because it's very suspicious. Um, I'd like to have kids one day, but also uh kids in large groups are just incredibly annoying. Possibly one of the most annoying things in the world is being around a lot of children at once. Especially after a certain age. Like younger kids, it's cool because they're just really discovering the world and everything, and you're watching kind of life occur, and you're like, oh my god, that's amazing. But like, the gym that I train at is co-located with like a children's gym and event center, and I see on weekends when they're having children's birthday parties there, and the people that staff that place, and the things they have to do, and the music they have to listen to, and it's all the parents there, and they're running their fucking kids around, and it looks there's not fun. um I think the joy of children and whatnot is more about children who are family to you, and watching the growth of your family, nieces, nephews, sons, daughters, whatever. When you start getting into other people's kids are incredibly annoying. um so I think there should be immediate suspicion uh cast upon anyone who would spend so much time around kids. And like they're talking about, outside of the show we would all hang out and do this and that, because it's like, big cast parties and hangouts and stuff like that. And like, if you're I understand the kids getting together to do that, a kids show, and afterwards they all spend time together, but I don't understand the adults getting together with the kids. It seems like you would be more inclined to be like, all right, let's get, you know what I want to do after spending 8 hours on set with these kids? I want to go to a bar where there are no kids. I want to go to an adult environment. I want to hang out with people my own age, or I want to go to sleep. Like, those are the two options. I don't want to hang out with children. Um, Very, very strange. Very strange that anyone would want to do that. And then the balls on the one guy. Apparently, he had an ongoing correspondence with John Wayne Gacy, and he's having a barbecue and he's showing it off to people. Like, if you're going to be involved in that kind of stuff, again, like Diddy, discretion and secrecy, and don't be brazen about it. The one guy sent a picture of himself masturbating to a child, and you're like, what was your expectation that something good was going to come from this? It's a fascinating mental space, truly. Like Nickelodeon adults, I think that might be a weirder thing than Disney adults. Because Disney adults, at least there are rides associated with it and junk food and stuff. Like, it's stupid, but you understand where in theory, some kind of fun could be found. Fucking grown up hanging around a bunch of children at Nickelodeon might be the most obviously pedo thing since the Boy Scouts. Fascinating to me. How am I doing on time here? 30. Okay. I do have to shower shortly. Melissa Joan Hart has weighed in on this, by the way. She said on the allegations, I absolutely trust them, believe them 100%. Yeah, I mean, they were doing, there's video shots of like Ariana Grande leaning off the bed and dousing herself with water. She looks like she's doing OnlyFans content. It's wild. And also, none of those shows looked like they were any good, to be honest. That, like, also that. It really felt like the channel probably went way downhill after those early years. Like, Are You Afraid of the Dark was high quality TV. I might watch that again. I might do a rewatch next October, or this coming October. Hey Dude was incredible, but like I want to say, Hey Dude, salute your shorts. Hey Dude, how old was the cast of Hey Dude? Oh, Christine Taylor was in. I think she's is that Ben Stiller's wife? Yeah, she's fucking hot. But she's 52. She was born in 71. And Hey Dude ran, its first episode was in 89. So she was 18 when that show ran. Like these were adults. Yeah, it was a good show. I was a big Hey Dude fan. Christine Taylor. It's good stuff. Who's Kelly Brown? Kelly Brown. Who is this? Was she hot? I remember the chicks on the show being pretty hot. How's her IMDb look? What's Kelly Brown up to? She still working? Not a whole lot. She did Danger Zone 4, Mad Girls, Bad Girls. Oh, is this a wonder if this is an adult feature. Let's take a peek. It appears that it might be. Oh, god damn it. You need an account for fucking IMDb now? Get the fuck out of here. It's either a bad comedy or like a very, very low level adult feature. Very hard to tell. Mad Girls, Bad Girls. Anyway, the point is, there was a time when Nickelodeon had shows with like adult actors, and then it seems they just went down this path of being very very molesty. And I guess this Dan Schneider guy was at the helm, and they were just hiring molesters. You would think if you were running Nickelodeon, it would be a priority to make sure that you weren't hiring pedos, because that kind of job, again, it just seems like it's a no-brainer that that's what pedos are going to sign up to do. Anyway, we talked about last week that attack in Russia. It apparently was ISIS. The Russians caught a few of them, I guess. Um, and they apparently fed one of them his own ear, and another one was shocked. Was electric shocked in the genitals. You know, say what you will about torture and all of that, but sometimes you do, whether a civilized nation should be doing it, blah 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 blah. Uh, sometimes you know what, you're just like, sure. Um, if you saw the video, um, if you saw the video of it going down, they're just walking through this venue with what look like AKs and blasting people just right at point blank range, like fish in a fucking barrel. So it's hard for me to feel any kind of empathy. Well, I guess I could feel empathy for, I guess, sympathy, um, for a guy who gets his ear cut off and fed to him after doing that. I wonder what the because while you're doing something like that, while you're in it, you're probably on such an adrenaline high, like while you're executing the attack, and then you're on the run, but eventually your body can no longer make the hormones that support that kind of thing, right? There's just not enough I think it's norepinephrine, maybe, the fight or flight hormone, that gets you all jacked up when you're doing something like that. um Eventually that runs out. Eventually you get caught by the Russians, and eventually you get interrogated Russian style. The Russians don't like to be embarrassed, and pulling off an attack like this inside of Russia to them would be very embarrassing. So they're going to take care of you good. Um, I can't imagine what that swing is like, going from, you're on the run, and you're like, okay, just got to get to the border, just got to get, you're going, to the moment you're caught. Like when you realize, oh boy, I am now caught by the Russians, and what that means for both your long and short-term future, because it's definitely not it's a not good thing to get caught by the Russian. That's like the last group of people that I would want to get caught by after doing something like this. Like the Saudis are up there with that too. Um, but I mean, it couldn't have happened to better people. One of these guys is 19 years old. They said they brought him into the courthouse in a wheelchair, and he seemed barely conscious throughout the entire proceeding, um, and was seen with multiple cuts. Yeah, I mean, fuck them all. Another one of them is 30, 32, 25. I'm looking at the ages on these guys. One of them was 19. Um, the 19-year-old, you wonder how he got roped into it by these older guys. Um, I guess they caught them. They were caught in the southern Bryansk region. See if I can get a map of that to get a feel for where it is. I have no idea where that is. Okay, so that is pretty close to the border with Ukraine. So presumably these guys were trying to get to Ukraine to escape. I guess the Russians disabled their vehicle and then ran into a forest to try to get away. Yeah, that I mean, you wonder how well they knew the terrain. That's the thing with something like this. If you're going to do it and plan on escaping, you really, really need to have a plan because you have to figure as soon as it goes down, they're looking for you. And one of the first things they're going to do is shut down every border, like every feasible exit point. So it's almost feels like you would be better off having homeless guy attire, like really, really foul smelling clothing, or and just leave, take your fucking backpack, change into your homeless shit, get as far the fuck away from the place as possible. Uh, you know, fucking bottle of vodka, go lay near a fountain, bottle of vodka, like you're just a fucking drunken bum, fucking, hang out around a little bit and then gradually get away. Um, I don't know. I don't know if you could truly ever make a run and expect to get out of there. The suspects are all citizens of Tajikistan. Tajikistan. That's one of those that like Tajikistan. Is it Tajikistan? That one of those places you don't hear about too often. And I have no idea what goes on in Tajikistan. It's here. It's between assholes Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, China, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. But I have no clue what goes on in uh, in Tajikistan. What's the State Department say about it? Interesting looking wildlife. There are travel advisories. Exercise increased caution. Due to terrorism, unexploded landmines, and occasional violence near the border with Kyrgyzstan. You should also reconsider travel to within 5 miles of Tajikistan's border with Afghanistan and the Gorno Badakhshan Autonomous Oblast. What the hell is it? We're learning all about Central Asia today on Sacktap Live. Where is this? These are this is an autonomous mountain region. Very remote. There is a conflict going on there, apparently. An insurgency. An armed conflict between the Tajik army and Islamist militants, led by numerous leaders from the Tajikistani civil war. This you just don't hear about this. I mean, I guess when the rest of the world talks about Americans being ignorant of everything, they maybe have a little bit of a point. You never. I didn't know there was anything going on there. I mean, look, uh, I think we just kind of assume that all of these, dumpster countries are constantly having some sort of internal strife. If you do travel to Tajikistan, have a plan to depart which does not rely on US government assistance. We're not going to help you. We have better shit to worry about than idiots who get lost in Tajikistan. That's what they're saying. Keep a low profile, monitor local media for breaking events, and be prepared to adjust plans. Do not touch unknown metal objects and avoid traveling off of well-used roads. Oh yeah, that's because there are landmines all over the place. Yeah, so I guess there are militant groups all along the border with Afghanistan, um, and it can spill over into this region that may have probably some maybe pro Taliban sensibilities. Imagine that there was some sort of situation where um, I think some Americans or some Canadians were hiking or biking in Kazakhstan or one of the stands a while back, and they got executed. Yeah, what just a wild chunk of the world. Anywhere where there are militants, where you're like, oh yeah, there are militants. Like, you mean they're just guys driving around in pickup trucks, and every once in a while they either get into a gunfight or they off some Westerners? No, thank you. I'm good. I've had quite enough of dealing with militants for one lifetime. So, like, there are parts of the world I would love to see, like South America or Africa or whatever, but you're like, oh yeah, those are also all places where you could wind up in an orange jumpsuit getting toted around and used as a negotiating piece in the what does Kramer call it, and then Billy Mumphrey, the, the dirty game of world diplomacy and international intrigue. Anyway, how am I doing on time? 47. I will getting ready to wrap up. I was gonna do the last story here, this bridge collapse in Baltimore, but I'm running short on time. I have to be somewhere in an hour, and I gotta hop in the shower. Um, but I I have no idea how guys survived this. Like, but one of the wives of one of the guys who survived, one of the construction workers who was on the bridge, said, "My husband doesn't know how to swim," and this guy survived. Um, I guess two construction workers were rescued, and a bunch of others died, and a number of them um, are missing and presumed. Which are horrible, absolutely terrible for them. Um, the one guy said he was able to crawl out of the window of his sinking truck, um, but his chest was crushed in the escape. He's in stable condition. I mean, I don't even like one second you're sitting there just hanging out in your truck. It's what was it, like a Sunday or a Monday night or whatever? This a couple days ago. What night did this happen? Wednesday? Was it Wednesday, Tuesday, or Wednesday? You're sitting there, and all of a sudden, you're just plummeting, you know, over 100 feet out of you just go from, oh yeah, here I am just sitting down enjoying a nice break, and all of a sudden you're plummeting into the water. It's incredible that anyone would, one, survive the fall, and two, have the presence of mind to be able to react and get out. It's like you have to be you have, there's got to be a lot of getting lucky there, um, if you're in that situation. And if I can't imagine, like, to be on the boat and to know what is going to happen and to be completely unable to do anything about it must be the shittiest feeling in the world. Because it's not like, maneuvering one of those boats is, it's not like it's like a fucking, the kind of things they zip around the bay down by Long Beach Island when they're doing like the Trump boat parade with all the MAGA flags on them. It's a massive cargo ship, and those things it takes a lot to turn those. It's not a pinpoint vessel. So they probably knew for a while that they were going to slam into that thing, and that there was like nothing they could really do. Like scrambling, you're trying the one thing, you try another, and then it's like, oh shit. Like you start doing the math and you're like, oh boy, here we go. Um, Incredible. I don't know if have I driven over a bridge since then? That's going to be harrowing. I remember I was going over a bridge on Sunday on my way back up from the shore, and I remember thinking to myself, like, there are some really long bridges out there. Like, there's like the Chesapeake Bay Bridge and other, like, what do you do if that thing just goes down? I was just randomly thinking of it. Um, yeah, I guess they were just out there like filling potholes. Jesus, terrible, terrible stuff. Um, I have to wrap it up. I have to get myself cleaned up and get on out of here. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler. And tell your friends they can catch the show on YouTube at Mike's Golden Streams. I've also been putting the audio back up on the podcast page, so you are welcome to check that out as well. And I bid you motherfuckers and adios.